Hi, I'm Kristen Oakes White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson will join us in just a few minutes. Well, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts the Mississippi River will crest at 62.1 feet on June 4th, just more than a foot short of the record set 8 years ago in May of 2011. Experts expect it to stay at that level at least through June 11th. That's why the Army Corps of Engineers is opening the Morganza Spillway for the third time since it was built in 1954. TWILA's Avery Davidson is standing by at the Mississippi River in Baton Rouge. And Avery, I know this may sound like I'm stating the obvious right now, but that river sure looks very high behind you.
Kristen, right now it is okay to state the obvious because the river is high. I'm going to step out of the way for a moment and you're going to see a tale of two stories here. One barge moving down the Mississippi River, a tugboat pushing nothing, trying to go up. You see he's pushing that motor pretty hard. The one that's headed downriver, not really running his motor much at all, and that's all because of the strong current here in the Mississippi River right now. Now, one of the ways you can tell the water is extremely high is when you look across the way at Louis Dreyfus Commodities. Once those barges move out of the way, you'll see that the water is right there under the docks. That's one of the reasons why the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is opening the Morganza Spillway to lower the water levels here and to the south. Now, as Taylor Fry tells us, there are about 25,000 acres of farmland and hundreds of head of cattle in the Morganza Spillway right now, all in harm's way once water starts flowing to the Atchafalaya.
Like a scene from an old Western movie, Ricky Revet and more than a dozen of his friends are moving his 200 head of cattle off this land.
We got tenor trail trailers, we got gooseneck trailers we're gonna haul today.
But instead of shipping them off to make money, he'll be losing money.
We're moving to a pasture that a friend has. Our friend has gonna let me use for about a couple of months. And then I'll move them back, but not right now. It's gonna I have to rebuild all the fence back to move them back.
He will have to rebuild the fence because on June 2nd, the United States Army Corps of Engineers is opening the Morganza control structure, which will flood 200 acres of Revet's pasture and affect his bottom line.
Financially, you got to move it all. I got to remove all the gates. I got to move everything out of the spillway. And then once the spillway is operated, all the fence is blown in the woods because of the water. So I got to rebuild all my fence here.
Unlike the Bonnie Carey Spillway, the property in the Morganza Spillway is private land. However, the Corps has easement rights that allow them to flood the land when river levels become threatening. Corps of Engineers Public Relations Chief Ricky Boyette says their ultimate decision is always based on public safety.
This system is designed to reduce the risk to lives, to property and infrastructure. But we know that by design, there are impacts to those in the basin, and we don't take that decision lightly.
The water from the spillway bays will impact not just Revet's land, but a total of 25,000 acres of farmland.
And this cane is beautiful out here.
Carl Newton has 500 acres of sugarcane in the spillway that will be completely submerged in just a few days.
We're about 5 miles south of the structure, and it'll probably be about 5 or 6 feet deep here.
He says when he decided to farm in the spillway 41 years ago,
this is why we're here.
He knew the risk.
We get up every day, we go to work, and the name of the game to be successful, you got to be able to change and adapt quickly. And whether it's the weather, the rain, the flood, commodity prices, China, trade, bad politics, plagues, whatever, this is a risky business.
Most farmers who farm in the floodway will tell you it's the rich soil that makes it worth it. But Revet has another reason that hits close to home.
Well, this is where we live at. This is where we were born and raised at. This is where all our roots is at. And the spillway is here. The spillway is Morganza. And it's what we do.
In Morganza, I'm Taylor Fry for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Thanks, Taylor, for that report. It reminds me a lot of 2011 when we had both a flood and a drought happening at the same time. Now, just as farmers and ranchers are preparing for the water to begin moving into the Atchafalaya River, so are government officials. In fact, it was just before a meeting in Morganza that Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain learned that the USDA will cover crops lost in the spillway through crop insurance.
From the air, you can see just how high the Mississippi River is at Baton Rouge and the speed at which its current pushes this tugboat and barges. The river is rising, which is why the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers made the decision to open the control structure on the Morganza Spillway. This video is from 2011, the last time the Mississippi River was about to top the structure. Unlike in 2011, commodity prices are low right now, which means farmers and ranchers may not have the cash flow to survive this flood.
This, in some cases, can be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Louisiana's 6th District Congressman Garrett Graves says that's why getting this letter to U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue was so important. The letter asks Perdue to, quote, stand ready not only to provide all appropriate U.S. Department of Agriculture emergency and non-emergency resources available to those adversely impacted, but to assist eligible farmers and producers to access available aid across the federal government. And it's signed by all 8 members of Louisiana's congressional delegation.
We're at the bottom of one of the largest watersheds in the world. We drain from Montana to New York to 2 Canadian provinces. And so a lot of the water problems we're having, the flooding problems we're having, they're not of our own doing. This is the nation sending us their water, the world sending us their water.
We take 41% of the country's water right through our back door, through the Atchafalaya and through the Mississippi.
Chris Gilbo is the Assistant Deputy Director of Emergency Management with the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. He says folks at GOSEP are hard at work to protect roads and property likely impacted by the flooding of the Morganza Spillway.
We are putting thousands of feet, tens of thousands of feet of Tiger Dam, Aqua Dam, in some cases large sandbags and HESCO baskets in different portions of the state where the water is eventually going.
Gilbo is confident the guide levees in the spillway will keep the water on course, a collision course with 25,000 acres of farmland.
So our farmers will lose this crop. They'll probably also not be able, we don't anticipate, to get something into the fall. We don't know that yet, so it's going to be prevented plantings as well.
It's going to be a long, drawn-out affair. The Corps has told us to expect these levels through July. So we're going to go into August with this. We may go into heavy hurricane season with this. That bothers us quite a bit.
As you just heard, this is going to be a long-term event, possibly going into August. Gilbo says that if you see a dam or some other kind of temporary control structure starting to fail, or you see water somewhere where it shouldn't be, contact your local authorities immediately. They need to know about it. If you see it, say it. In our continuing team coverage, we're moving further north. Backwater flooding along the Red River is causing problems for farmers there. In fact, one farmer there has almost half of his fields underwater. Neil Melanson tells us even if the waters recede and replanting is possible, some problems are not going to go away.
This is how Luke Sayes is getting to work these days, checking his fields that are almost completely underwater. It would otherwise be a peaceful scene of waves lapping up on the shore by his barn, except that this lake represents about 2/5 of his best land and income.
It's one of our really good farms. It's our favorite farm. We've done a lot of work down there to make sure that it's, really up to par. It's a really high yielding area, and so that puts us kind of in a bind.
All of this flooding is further north than what you saw earlier in the program and has been going on for quite some time, drowning out both farms and homes. Even where there is dry land to farm, Sayes said some farmers in his area have had their drives go from 15 minutes to 2 hours due to water covering roads, and all this is before the Morganza Spillway opens up next week.
We're in the lower Red River Valley, so it may get inundated and not be able to get out. And it may actually come up a little bit. We're not really sure until they open it up. We really don't have any idea.
I'm standing on not just effectively, but a literal island here where Luke Sayes' barn is. Normally he takes a roadway to get here. We'll show you where that is in a minute. This is his 1,500 acres of his best farmland right here, and it's sandwiched right now in between the river and Lardo Lake, which is back this way just a bit. In between us is 3102, the roadway he normally takes to get to this land, also completely underwater. The problem is it's just one part of what he calls a compound issue, economics being the other big part in farming right now.
Further north in Franklin Parish, there's not as much water on Scott Wigger's fields. However, the soggy prices for beans that have held on since last year made some acres awash.
Beans, yeah, it factored into our decisions as to how many acres of beans we wanted to plant, because it was just really a bad marketing situation, as everyone knows. So we moved a little bit heavy to corn.
The water has stopped some fields from being planted. Economics has stopped others. Together, it's making for a tough year in farming, and Say says he's not just concerned for his farm, but for all those that depend on ag.
The people that work for us, the ag retailers that deal with us, you know, the equipment salesmen, all those kind of people that depend on us to make a good living so that we can keep everything afloat around here. And it's not just us, it's a lot of other farmers that are in the same boat that we are.
Now, there is some good news in all of this, is that some market prices have edged upwards in the last couple of weeks, buoyed by a forecast of lower production in the Midwest. Rice prices are also coming back up a bit, which is good for farmers in Louisiana after multi-year lows. And Kristen, you have to be an optimist as a farmer to face this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, it's funny that we were so close to Monterey while we were doing this, because the whole time I was thinking about when Landon's fields flooded and it looked like a big lake. And I mean, you can't tell at Luke's place where Lake Lardo begins and, you know, his fields end, or vice versa. I mean, it's just one big mass of water.
Well, you say you have to be an optimist, but you know, this is my fourth year being married to a farmer. You know, I grew up on a livestock operation, so it's different. Mm-hmm. It's really hard at times when, you know, when the prices are this low, and they hopefully, knock on wood, tomorrow or today they get finished planting the soybeans, which is really late. But it's hard because it just seems like year after year these row crop farmers get hit with situations like this.
Well, Luke said something there, you know, around Lake Lardo, there's all of those hunting camps and lodges. And he says in the next year, he expects to see a bunch of people selling their camps because they're sick of being flooded. So, I mean, that's just a hunting camp. I can't imagine what these farmers are going through with year after year of flooded fields. I mean, what if, the real thing to think about is, with 2,000 acres underwater, 2,000 is 5,000 acres underwater, what if you had to deal with 2/5 less of your income in a year, just gone?
And those farmers around the Morganza have to be thinking about how often is this going to start happening. You know, it's only happened 3 times, but with the way that floods have been happening, you know, how much longer can they farm in that area?
Yeah, and I mean, in that Forebay area, I mean, it's just like a 50-50 shot these days as to whether or not it's going to flood. I mean, that area always seems to be underwater, and now that it looks like more and more, as you said, they're going to be underwater lower than that too.
Well, Neil Melanson, excellent coverage. Thank you for taking care of that for us. Well, the 2019 legislative session is quickly drawing to a close, so we wanted to update you on the few of the issues that Louisiana Farm Bureau has been following. One positive for Louisiana farmers came on right to repair. In a memorandum of understanding between the equipment manufacturers and dealers, farmers and agricultural industry organizations, and the universities and technical colleges of Louisiana, a huge effort is on its way to put more trained mechanics in the field to service the growing number of complex equipment farmers use in the fields today. This should lead to much less downtime for machinery and more time for farmers to be in the field. This session, we also saw some changes to the Farmers Card program that was put into place in 2018. That's the form from the Louisiana Department of Revenue, so those involved in agriculture receive tax exemptions. Improvements to that program now allow landowners to receive the same benefits as their tenant farmer on inputs as long as they provide proof of the lease agreement. There is also an amendment that includes student farmers for certain expenses associated with livestock projects. It passed the House this week and is headed for the governor's desk for a signature. The last big issue we're watching closely is the passage of House Bill 491 by Representative Clay Scheck-Snyder. This bill puts in place a structure for Louisiana farmers to begin to move towards growing and processing industrial hemp. This would allow a new option for Louisiana farmers at a time when the markets are tough for them. Currently, the bill is being heard and amended by the Senate. Once it's finished there, its next stop will be the House chamber. To stay up to date on that bill and the others still moving through the process over the rest of the session, head on over to our website at twilatv.org and sign up for our grassroots government newsletter. Well, this week we continue our series profiling the finalists for the 2019 Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Rancher Achievement Award. The winner will be announced during the 97th Annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention held in just a few weeks in New Orleans. Rachel and Robert Duncan farm in Boyce, Louisiana. As TWILA's Carl Wigger shows us, they are growing into a new beef market by putting food on their neighbor's table.
With too much water on the fields to plant soybeans, Robert and Rachel Duncan spend their time checking their cattle.
Come on.
Life on this farm is all Robert has ever wanted for himself and his family.
My great-grandfather was a farmer, my grandfather farmed, my dad and my uncle's farm. So that's all I've ever done.
Grew up barrel racing and riding horses and stuff, but it was nothing like how deep in agriculture Robert and his family are.
Rachel says that she loves life on the farm with Robert and Wrigley, and these young farmers have plenty to keep them busy.
We are just under 500 acres of row crop soybeans. We do our own hay. We sell some hay when we can, and we run around 200 head of mama cows year-round, and we got into, the last couple years, we've gotten into the custom beef business.
That's why the Duncans are keeping a close watch on these cattle. Duncan says that he is proud to put food on his neighbor's table.
We really enjoy the aspect of being able to sell to neighbors and keeping local meat and local people.
I market on social media for it. I even do, the selling. People come to the house all the time. Hey, I need some meat. I need some ribeyes, or I need 5 pounds of ground meat. So I help do that. And it's nice knowing that we are small producers and people can come to us and get what, they're wanting to consume and not having to go to a big box store to do it.
There's a demand. There's demand for people. People are, especially now, they're discouraged from buying stuff at the grocery store because they don't know where it came from. And being able to buy it local, from your neighbor, say this is how it was raised, and they can show you. If somebody wants to come out here and look, we'll be glad to show them, how it's raised, what we do to raise them and get them to that point. I think there's definitely growth. The first year we did it, we fed 3. The second year we did it, we fed 13. So there's a demand. People want it, and if we can give it to them and sell it to them, we'll be glad to.
This new market for the Duncans to grow into comes at a time when they need it most. That's because at the end of May, a lot of their land for soybeans is still underwater. Robert says working with this water is just part of farming in Louisiana.
Somebody's got to do it, and we, that's what we love it. That's why we keep doing it. We may not get to plant every acre this year. We might have to, change up and kind of change our original plan and do something different. You just take what you have and go with it.
The winner of the 2019 Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers Achievement Award will receive a $35,000 cash prize provided by the Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, along with a host of other prizes. Next week, we will finish this series when we meet Philip and Carrie Tomlinson from Lake Providence, Louisiana. So when will we find out who wins the Young Farmer and Rancher Achievement Award? As I said before the last story, it's in just a few weeks at the 97th Annual Convention of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. About 1,500 farmers, ranchers, and rural residents will converge on New Orleans from June 20th through the 23rd to discuss farm policy, meet with leaders in each commodity, and to have a great time, of course. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation annual meeting is a family convention complete with talent and queens contests. There will also be lots of attention from Louisiana politicians because this is an election year. Again, the convention will take place at the New Orleans Marriott on Canal Street in New Orleans. To learn more about it, visit our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, we see how crawfish prices look as we move into June. But first, Louisiana food fills the state capitol. Stay with us. Over at the state capitol, Louisiana products were the focus as May 28th was designated as Certified Louisiana Day. Currently, there are 263 businesses statewide that hold a Certified Louisiana Cajun, Creole, Farm-to-Table, or Craft Beverages designation.
We are actually in Memorial Hall in the rotunda of the state capitol.
Today we are having Certified Louisiana Day at the Capitol, where we are promoting Louisiana agricultural products.
So my name is Maddie Ploche from Louisiana, and I have my own business. So basically we create our own line of sauces. We started off with the original Sensation salad dressing, and from there we developed a creamy sensation, a butter, as well as our newest, a coleslaw. It's going really good. We're making a bunch of sales. We're getting the word out. And most recently we became Certified Louisiana.
It's important to be Certified Louisiana because it's the official seal of Louisiana. It shows that it's an authentic product of Louisiana.
I think the biggest thing is that we're doing craft shows. We have our own website now, and since we became Certified Louisiana, it adds so much more meaning to our product.
Buy fresh, you buy local, you buy Louisiana. So we have Certified Louisiana, we have Certified Cajun, Certified Creole, Certified farm to market. We have certified craft beverages. You know, there's so many different products, and you look for that certification. When you go into the grocery store, when you go to the farmer's market, look for that Certified Louisiana. This is a celebration today. We're here to bring awareness not only to the public, but also to the House and Senate members so they truly understand the program. Remember, Louisiana is about a celebration of food. And so most of the products are food or beverages, but there are many different certified products as long as they are processed, made, and the majority of the ingredients, of course, are derived from here. And so it's a wonderful program. We're having a great time here today at the Capitol.
If you would like to become a Certified Louisiana member, please go to our website at certifiedlouisiana.org.
We are Maddie's Food Creations, and we are Certified Louisiana.
When you look at these Certified Louisiana products, it's part of the heart and the soul of Louisiana. And again, buy fresh, buy local, buy Louisiana, buy Certified Louisiana products.
Don't forget to buy fresh, buy local, and check for the certified logo when you're out shopping to support your local farmers and businesses. To find a complete list of certified Louisiana products and vendors, head over to our website at twilatv.org and be sure to support those local businesses every chance you get. Still to come on TWILA, we're having a ball with this week's TWILA Boost. Stay with us. Well, it feels like summer is in full swing because the temperatures are rising. But just because the temperatures are rising doesn't mean crawfish prices are. It's the perfect weekend to enjoy some boiled crawfish and maybe lounge by the pool while you're at it. If you're in Northwest Louisiana this weekend, be sure to stop in Shreveport at B&D Seafood, where you can get live crawfish for $2 a pound and boiled crawfish for $3.99 per pound. If you find yourself in Lafayette this weekend, you can get your crawfish fill at Crawfish Time, where they have live crawfish for $1.55 a pound and boiled crawfish for $4.56 per pound. If you're relaxing in the Big Easy this weekend, make sure to stop at the West Bank Seafood in New Orleans, where you'll be able to find live crawfish at $1.39 a pound and boiled crawfish for $2.69 per pound. Be sure to check locally and find the best price crawfish in your area before you buy. Again, we want to thank our friends at the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, which reminds you to ask before you eat. This week, we're ending our show with a lighthearted TWILA Boost that will surely put a smile on your face. Did you know that some cows like to play fetch almost as much as our canine friends? Swedish zookeeper Jasmine Sjogren posted this video featuring one of her cows who just loves to play ball. Obviously, people across the globe love watching this playful bovine as much as we do, since this video has racked up more than 26 million views on Facebook alone. If you want to see the entire video, we posted a link on our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we will meet our final young farm family from Northeast Louisiana. We'll also follow up on the Morganza opening and how it will impact the entire state. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below. That really helps us out. Also, please subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all things Louisiana agriculture that we cover here on TWILA. Also, check out this video right here, and we'll see you on the next one.